And when you came back from Ottawa to serve as our senior rabbi,
Yes.
these were troubling times.
Very troubling time.
So what were some of the issues that you had to grapple with in the wake of the Rosenberg conflict?
First of all, I had to grapple with issues within the rabbinical assembly who were very unhappy about me or anyone else coming. But I knew enough of the rabbinical assembly and how it worked at that time to say I'm not really interested in what you're doing. I know what I'm going to do.
There were certain risks that you took.
Absolutely.
So tell us, what were these risks?
Well, you mean in the rabbinical assembly?
Yes.
Of course. The risk was, the primary risk, is that I would no longer be a member. And this was so, even though it was not at all guaranteed that I would become the rabbi here. Once I came as meet the congregation in March, I believe it was, there was absolutely no guarantee that I would be the rabbi. But I did it. As I say, I was unhappy with what they were doing, so I'm going to do it. Whatever the consequences are, that's what the consequences are. Okay? I'll take my chances. Although I must say, to the credit of my people in Ottawa, they did something that was so remarkable that and I'm recording this. I want to record this specifically to their credit. That at the board meeting, when I told them that I was going to leave, and somebody asked me, if you are offered the position, will you take it? I said yes. They then made a motion that in the event that I was not offered the position, they would offer me a new contract to continue on as the rabbi of the Agudath Israel in Ottawa. That really, it was done beautifully, really beautifully. Okay, now let's get back to
the next. So the next.
So
step
they
is,
said they.
Okay.
So when in fact, once I came here, even though it was actually just to meet the congregation, at that point, from their point of view, I hadn't broken the rules really, although they said it. But I having read the Constitution, I know I hadn't broken the rules. But inasmuch at that time, the leaders of the rabbinical assembly, and I'm referring to the professional leaders, not to the lay leadership, had decided for some reason they were going to punish Beth Tzedec. Then they told me that, at least they indicated to me, that if I go through with this, that they will remove me as a member of the congregation, of the assembly. And when I accepted the position, then of course, when I accepted the position, yes, then in fact they did do so at the assembly convention, which I attended. And although the floor was going to be refused to me, nevertheless I insisted with the chairman of that particular meeting that I speak, and I did. And I explained to them why I did this. I was not asking them for them to reconsider what might be their decision, or probably would be, but nevertheless I felt I did. So that was it. Although having read the minutes of that particular meeting, it didn't say that I was expelled. All it said was suspended. Whatever.
So you became the senior rabbi at Beth Tzedec.
Right.
What were some of the goals that you wanted to establish in and for Beth Tzedec at that time?
There were a number of them, but primarily, first of all, I wanted to continue some of the Beth Tzedec traditions. I wanted to continue the sense that they had of exceptionalism. I didn't want to change everything. Why should I? You don't change what's good. You may enhance it. You may you may continue it. You're not going to change it. There was a sense of dignity that some of the people had. Some of those that I remembered from 1955. And they had a sense of dignity, not necessarily about their lives as such, but they knew that when it came to the shul, they had to represent the shul at its best. And that's what they did. And that's what disturbed many of them about the whole Rosenberg case. It wasn't that they were taking sides here or there. They just didn't like how the whole thing was conducted. It created a stench. And they felt that's not what a shul should be. There were other ways of handling it. That was their concern. Okay. So what were some of my goals? In addition to that, I wanted to make sure, you see, I was what was considered a right wing, in the right wing of the Rabbinical Assembly, the conservative movement. I wanted to make sure that we didn't fly off the handle here in terms of changing tradition. It has to be done carefully if we were going to do it at all, and not just cavalierly. It had to be done carefully. It had to be done with a sense, hey, this tradition is sacred. We don't just do it cavalierly or casually. This was one thing. The other thing was to try and create a love of Jewish education among the adults. Torah. To create the love of Jewish education. In some ways we were successful. But I don't think that we, either I, nor my successors, nor the conservative movement as a whole, has created that idea of Torah as a vital and passionate goal that motivates the families and their children and so on.